Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, bringing you another episode of the Pathfinder Occultist Guide. Today, we're going over their necromancy spells, and just as a reminder, if you're going to cast these spells at your caster level, you need to have the necromancy implement handy and on your person. Otherwise, you're stuck casting them at their spell level. So if you're casting a 3rd level spell, doesn't matter if you're a 15th level spellcaster, you're going to cast it as though it were being cast by a 3rd level spellcaster. But with that reminder out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right on into this. To begin with, for 0 level, we have Touch of Fatigue. It's not a bad choice, but you do have other better spells for 0 level that you can cast from in the other spell schools. The casting time is a standard action. Range is touch, and the duration is 1 round per level, and you channel negative energy into your target in order to fatigue them. You have to make a touch attack in order to affect the target, and they get a fortitude save to negate. At lower levels, this will be nice. This will be handy enough. You'll get some use out of it, but the problem is that long run, you're going to come up against more opponents with better fortitude saves. Fortitude saves are fairly common, and you're going to find opponents eventually that are immune to these kinds of effects. Lots of outsiders, undead, constructs, so its usefulness is going to drop off pretty quickly. But for those targets that you can hit with this, yeah, it might be a little bit hit or miss, but it's still not terrible. Fatigued is a nice debuff to hit somebody with. But a better spell, though, 1st level, is Grasping Corpse. Casting time is a standard action. Range is 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels, and the target is 1 corpse. You animate a corpse and have it either trip or grapple a target. The combat maneuver bonus, or CMB, is equal to your caster level, plus either your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma bonus, whichever is highest. In our case, it's going to be our intelligence, since we're pumping that up. If the target is grappled, the combat maneuver defense is the same as the CMB rule for this spell, meaning it's going to run off of your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. The grappled effect also will end if the corpse is destroyed, and the corpse is treated as having 12 hit points and damage reduction 5 against slashing. So, fairly easy way to go about destroying the corpse. And at higher levels, that'll be pretty easy for most opponents to do, but the nice thing is they're still going to be grappled and still have to spend their turn destroying the corpse and getting up, and unless they have protections against it, that renders them vulnerable to attacks of opportunity because they're standing from a prone position. So overall, not bad to have it all. And if you can hit a spellcaster with this, even better. The difficulty in casting while somebody's grappling you, that's really, really high there, and disrupting a spellcaster is absolutely something of prime importance to any party's strategy. But those aren't all the spells that we have for you. At level 2, we have False Life. And this one is actually kind of useful for us, particularly useful, in fact. The casting time is a standard action, range is self, and the duration is an incredible 1 hour per level. You use the power of Unlife to grant yourself an unnatural vigor. You gain a temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus 1 per caster level. So, you cast this as a level 10 occultist, you're getting that 1d10 plus 10 to your hit point total. And this is nice because occultists don't have the highest hit dice. They're getting a d8, and you have a lower armor class because you're limited to going up as heavy as medium armor, and you get to use shields, but any amount of ability to buff our staying power in combat is going to be useful for any melee build. Then at level 3, we have Bestow Curse, and I really, really like Bestow Curse. And again, this is something that, in my mind, just kind of fits for that dark, mysterious power that the occultist draws from. So overall, this kind of fits the flavor and feel for an occultist, especially drawing off of necromancy and using necromancy-related implements and the like. The casting time is a standard action, range is touch, and the target is the creature touched, and the duration is its permanent. It has to be removed via other magic, like remove curse. A will save does negate it, and spell resistance does apply for something like this. So, and you place a curse on a subject, picking one of the following effects. -6 to 1 ability score, dropping them to a minimum of 1. -4 on attack rolls, saves, ability checks, and skill checks. Or, on each turn, the target has a 50% chance to act normally. Otherwise, they take no action and they lose that action. All of these are very useful. I like causing them to have a 50% chance of just outright losing whatever action they're trying to do. The other nice thing with this is that Bestow Curse allows you to get creative. The rules in the text say you can create other effects, but they should be no more or comparably powerful to these three options right here. So depending on what your DM's allowing you to play around with, you can come up with some interesting, very useful, and tailored effects to land on an opponent. So really, really cool spell. Definitely worth picking up. And DMs, work with your players on this. Let them get creative and engaged. Let them feel like they have a stronger hand in the game. That'll increase their engagement, their fun, and the overall enjoyment that everybody gets to have at the table. For 4th level, we have Fear. The casting time is a standard action, range is 30 feet, and the duration is 1 round per level, or 1 round, depending on the will saves. The area is in a cone-shaped burst, and you fire off a burst of magic that instills all those caught in the 30-foot cone a dread panic, unless they succeed on a will save. On a success, the target or targets are only shaken for 1 round. So shaken's not a bad thing to have on somebody. It sucks it only lasts for 1 round, but at least you're still getting some kind of a debuff on your opponents. And if you can panic them, get several opponents panicked, or even if it's just 2 or 3 out of the area of effect that you hit, which you should be able to line up a decent shot, being nice, close, and in the melee, this is going to be awesome. Spreading around a mass debuff like this is great. Fear is nice to have. And then at level 5, we have Unwilling Shield, and I really like this one. Again, this is another way of helping our staying power in combat. The casting time is a standard action. Range is 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 target levels. And you create duration is 1 round a level, and will saves, negates, and spell resistance does apply to this. You create a mystic connection between you and one target creature. 1/2 of all hit point damage dealt to you is shared with the target, so long as it's in range of the spell, and you get a +1 luck bonus to your armor class and all of your saves. So that +1 bonus, that's a nice little kicker to have on there, but the real selling point for this ability is that, well, say you get hit and you take 20 points of damage. 10 points of damage will be immediately shunted over to the target that you've hit with this spell. So that will save you on taking hit point damage, and also help to deal damage to other targets. So it feeds into action economy, it helps keep you in combat longer, and you're getting a nice little bonus on top of it all. So all the way around, really, really good spell. The only drawbacks are the will saves and the spell resistance applying, but that's still not enough to make this a bad choice, or even a good choice. This is a pretty good choice, like definitely worthwhile to have in your repertoire. And then for level 6, our last and final necromancy spell here, we have Umbral Strike, and I really, really like this one. The casting time is a standard action. Range is a generous 100 feet plus 10 feet for every level, and the target is 1 creature. The duration for it is 1 round per level. You conjure a bolt of dark energy and use it to make a ranged touch attack that ignores concealment. Not total concealment, but if they have that 50% concealment, you can hit them with this. The bolt deals 1d6 damage per level. Half of it is cold damage, and the other half is negative energy damage. The bolt creates a shadow that envelops the target, rendering them blind for the duration of this spell. A successful fortitude save negates half the damage and the blind condition. So at the end of the day, you're still getting damage out of it, which is nice. It's cold damage and negative energy damage, which there's not a whole lot of resistances for either of those. More cold than for negative, but still. And blinding a target, that's incredibly useful. And you're going to still face a wide enough number of creatures vulnerable to blind effects that this makes the spell viable. That, and it can end up doing a significant amount of damage on its own. So damage and a status effect, and with a good range. This is awesome. Very, very awesome. Good spell to have. You want it, pick it up. If you grab a necromancy implement, definitely pick up these spells. But these are, of course, not the only necromancy spells in the occultist spell list. These are just the ones I feel will be the best bang for your buck. So, if you have any other thoughts or things that you would like to see on this list, or you might consider swapping out, go on down into the comments below. I'm more than happy to engage in the discussion with you all. Also, if you liked today's video, go on down, hit the like button, mention that in the comments as well, what you liked, or even if you didn't like it, or if you have a mixed opinion on it all. I'm happy to hear about all of it. I get better with more and more feedback I receive from all of you. But if you did enjoy today's video, I've got good news for you, you lucky so-and-sos. There are 2 more videos popping up over this way. One is something the almighty Google has decided that you will enjoy as well. The other is another video I've done here recently myself, and I think you'll find that to be fantastic as well. Or, if this hasn't been your first stop here at the Gamers Den, then hell, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member. Be notified the next time we upload more wonderful content here to the Gamers Den. But, with that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good day.